Let's cut the fluff. You're not as in control as you think. That decision you made this morning to skip the gym, not your choice. That argument you had with your partner over nothing, it's not really about them. That gut feeling telling you this job offer is perfect could be a glitch in your brain older than civilization itself. Welcome to Midnight Mindset, where we don't just explore your mind, we dissect it. We pull back the curtain on the silent puppeteers inside your skull. The ancient wiring, the cognitive bugs no one told you about. This isn't self-help. This is self-exposure. And today, we're diving into the 7 brain flaws that are secretly running your life without your permission, without your awareness, and without ever asking if you're okay with it. These aren't just quirks. They're exploit software bugs in the most complex machine in the known universe, your brain. And if you don't know they exist, you're already living under their rule. So ask yourself how much of your life is actually yours. Let's find out. 7. Your brain is addicted to suffering. Ever notice how one bad comment erases 10 compliments? You post a photo, 97 people say you look amazing. One person writes, "You've gained weight." And suddenly, that's all you can think about. Why? Because your brain isn't designed for happiness. It's designed for survival, and survival means spotting threats faster than opportunities. Scientists call this the negativity bias. And it's not just a tendency. It's a full-blown addiction. Neuroimaging studies at Princeton University show that negative stimuli trigger a stronger, faster response in the brain than positive ones. Your amygdala, the fear center, lights up like a stadium when you see a frowning face, but a smiling face. Barely a flicker. And get this, babies show this bias. A 2018 study in developmental psychology found that infants as young as 9 months stare longer at angry faces than happy ones. They're not born optimistic. They're born paranoid. Why? Because in the wild, missing a threat could get you killed. Missing a compliment, no evolutionary cost. But here's the twist. The world isn't the wild anymore. And yet, your brain still acts like it is. Now, instead of predators, your brain treats emails, social media notifications, and traffic jams like life-or-death threats, and the media. They know this. They weaponize your negativity bias. Ever wonder why the news feels like a non-stop apocalypse reel? Because fear sells. A 2020 study in the Journal of Communication analyzed 10 years of headlines and found that negative news spreads 3x faster than positive news online. Why? Because your brain can't look away. It's like having a smoke alarm that goes off every time you toast bread X. This one keeps you up at night, convinced the house is burning down, and the worst part, you're rewarded. Every time you click on a doomsday headline, your brain gets a dopamine hit. Not because you're morbid, because you've just solved a threat. Your brain thinks, "Good job, human. We avoided danger, but there was no danger. Just a headline." So ask yourself, are you consuming the news, or is the news consuming you? September 6th, the lizard brain hijacker. Driving home, radio's on. You're relaxed. Then dash out of nowhere, some guy cuts you off. Instantly, you're screaming, hands gripping the wheel, heart pounding. You're this close to chasing him down. But 60 seconds later, you're laughing at yourself. What the hell was that? That, my friend, was an amygdala hijack, coined by psychologist Daniel Goleman, author of Emotional Intelligence. This is when your emotional brain, your lizard brain, takes over. Before your rational mind even gets a chance to respond, think of your brain as a car with 2 drivers. The front seat driver is your prefrontal cortex, logical, calm, plans ahead. The backseat driver is your amygdala, ancient, reactive, obsessed with danger, and sometimes it lunges for the wheel. Because to your amygdala, that guy who cut you off isn't just rude, he's a threat to your survival. Back in the savannah, someone invading your space could mean attack. Now, it's just bad driving. But your brain hasn't gotten the memo. And when the amygdala takes over, it floods your body with adrenaline, cortisol, and norepinephrine. The same chemicals that helped your ancestors fight off predators. So you're Not just angry. You're chemically prepared for war. And here's the scary part. This hijack happens in 1/5 of a second. Faster than thought. Faster than reason. And once it's over, your rational brain wakes up like, wait, a felony over a merge? But the damage is done. You've snapped at your partner, sent a furious email, missed an important detail, and the cycle repeats. Because your lizard brain doesn't learn, it only reacts. So ask yourself, how many decisions today were made by the real you? Or were they made by a 300 million year old brain structure that thinks fire is magic? Asterisk number 5. The confidence of the clueless. Have you ever met someone who knows nothing but acts like they know everything? The guy at the party explaining quantum physics after watching one YouTube video? The coworker who's never managed a team but insists he could run the company better? That's not arrogance. That's the Dunning-Kruger effect. A landmark study by psychologists David Dunning and Justin Kruger at Cornell University found that the less people know about a subject, the more confident they are in their expertise. Meanwhile, real experts, they're full of doubt. Why? Because ignorance is bliss in confidence. When you know nothing, you don't know what you don't know, so your brain fills in the gaps with overconfidence. But when you're an expert, you see the complexity. You know how much you don't know. It's like climbing a mountain from the bottom. You see the peak. It looks close. You think you can make it in an hour. But the guy halfway up, he sees the cliffs, the storms, the false summits. He knows it's going to take weeks, and the guy at the top is looking at other mountains. So who's more confident? The one who's never started. Now, apply this to real life. Imagine a CEO who's never studied economics, but is convinced he can fix the national debt, or a parent who refuses vaccines because Google said so. This isn't just annoying, it's dangerous. And here's the kicker. You are not immune. In fact, the moment you think, I don't do that, you might be doing it right now. Because the Dunning-Kruger effect has a blind spot. It's invisible to the person experiencing it. So, ask yourself, what are you completely confident about that you actually know nothing about? Number 4, the invisible gorilla in your mind watch. This video, you're shown a group of people passing a basketball. You're told to count how many times. The players in white shirts pass the ball. Halfway through, a person in a gorilla suit walks into the middle of the game, stops, beats their chest, and walks off. You'd notice that, right? Except 50% of people don't. This is the famous invisible gorilla experiment by psychologists Christopher Chabrice and Daniel Simons at Harvard. They proved inattentional blindness. When your brain focuses on one thing, it becomes blind to everything. Elsevier, the absurd. And it's not just students in a lab. It happens to experts. In a follow-up study, they showed radiologists, doctors trained to spot tiny anomalies in lung scans, a scan with a gorilla, the size of a credit card embedded in it. 83% missed it, even though their eyes looked right at it. Their brain said, not a tumor, ignore. So, if a doctor can miss a gorilla while looking for cancer, what are you missing every day? That text you didn't see. That red flag in a relationship, that opportunity. Right in front of you, your attention isn't a spotlight. It's a tunnel. And everything outside it might as well not exist. So ask yourself, what gorilla is walking through your life right now? You're too busy counting basketballs to see it. Number 3, your memory is a liar. Close your eyes. Think back to your last vacation. Feel the warmth, the laughter, the perfect sunset. Now ask yourself, is that really how it happened? Because your memory isn't a recording. It's a story edited, rewritten, and often completely fictional. Psychologists call this the peak end. Rule: your brain doesn't remember experiences based on their total quality. It remembers the most intense moment, the peak, and how it ended. So if your vacation had one amazing day, and ended with a flat tire and a screaming kid, you'll remember it as a bad trip, even if 90% of it was great. This isn't just perception, it's biology. A famous study by Nobel laureate Daniel Kahneman found that patients who endured painful colonoscopies remembered the procedure as less painful if it ended with a few minutes of mild discomfort compared to those whose procedure ended abruptly at peak pain. Even though they suffered longer, they rated it as better. Why? Because the ending changed their memory. Your brain isn't preserving truth, it's crafting a narrative. And it does this every time. Think about your last breakup. Was the person terrible 95% of the time? But then they sent a sweet text or took you out for one amazing night before you left? Chances are, your brain filed it under maybe they weren't so bad. That's not nostalgia. That's cognitive distortion. And it's why people return to toxic relationships, bad jobs, and failing projects. Because the brain remembers the highlight reel, not the full movie. So ask yourself, how many decisions are you making based on a memory that never actually happened? Number 2, the echo chamber in your skull. You think you're open-minded, but here's a test. What happens when someone challenges your political views? Do you listen, or do you instantly look for ways to prove them wrong? If it's the latter, welcome to confirmation bias, the brain's ultimate. Yes, man, your brain doesn't want truth. It wants validation. Every time you hear something that agrees with you, your brain releases dopamine, the same chemical you get from food, sex, and drugs. It feels good to be right, but when you hear something that contradicts your beliefs, your brain treats it like a threat. MRI scans show increased activity in the amygdala, your fear center. When people are presented with opposing views, so you don't just disagree, you fear, and then you avoid. You unfollow, you block. You retreat into a world where everyone thinks like you. And social media, it amplifies this. Algorithms feed you more of what you click on. So if you watch one video about flat earth theory, you'll soon be in a rabbit hole of conspiracies. It's called the filter. Bubola, term coined by internet activist Eli Pariser. And it's not just online, it's in your friendships, your news sources, your workplace. You surround yourself with people who reflect your beliefs because it feels safe. But safety isn't truth. And the longer you stay in the bubble, the more extreme you become. This is how smart people believe insane things, because the brain doesn't care about being right. It cares about being consistent. So ask yourself, when was the last time you changed your mind? And if you can't remember, is that because you're always right? Or because your brain won't let you see otherwise? Number 1, the IKEA effect. Why you love your bad decisions. You spent 6 hours building an IKEA bookshelf. The instructions were hieroglyphics. You have 3 screws left over. The shelf leans like the Tower of Pisa, but you love it. You show it off like it's a masterpiece. Why? Because you built it. This is the IKEA effect, a cognitive bias, where you place unrealistic value on things you've made yourself. A 2011 study by Harvard Business School found that people were willing to pay 63% more for furniture they assembled than for identical pre-built versions, even when it was objectively worse. Your brain rewards effort with attachment, and it's not just furniture. That terrible poem you wrote in high school, you still think it's profound? That startup idea that went nowhere, do you still believe it could have been a billion-dollar company? Why? Because your brain is trying to protect your ego, it says. I spent time on this, therefore it must be good, otherwise you'd have to admit, I wasted my time. And that's unbearable. So your brain lies to you. It inflates the value of your work, your relationships, your beliefs just to avoid the pain of regret. And this is the most dangerous flaw of all. Because it's why people stay in dead-end jobs. Why founders cling to failing businesses. Why you stay in relationships long after they've turned toxic. Your brain isn't protecting you from the world. It's protecting you from yourself, from the truth that sometimes you were wrong. So ask yourself, what? Are you holding on to not because it's good, but because you've built it? So let's recap. Your brain is addicted to bad news because survival beats joy. Your lizard brain hijacks your decisions in milliseconds. The Dunning-Kruger effect makes fools confident and experts doubtful. Inattentional blindness means you miss the gorilla in front of you. Your memory is a fiction writer, rewriting your past every time you recall it. Your echo chamber brain only wants to hear what it already believes. The IKEA effect makes you love your worst decisions just because they're yours. These aren't flaws, they're features. Evolutionary shortcuts, mental shortcuts, survival hacks. But in the modern world, they're malware. And if you don't recognize them, they'll keep running your life in the background. But now, you've seen the code, you know the tricks, and knowledge is the first step to rebooting the system. So next time you feel angry, is this me more my amygdala? Next time you're certain, ask, could I be clueless and confident? Next time you remember something fondly, ask, is that really how it happened? Question everything, especially your own mind, because the most dangerous thing in your life isn't out there, it's in here, and until you master it. It's mastering you. This is Midnight Mindset, where we don't just think deeper, we think darker. If you want more videos that pull back the curtain on your mind, hit subscribe, because next time we're diving into the dark psychology of your morning routine. Trust me, not as awake as you think. See you in the next one. Stay sharp, stay skeptical, stay awake.